We're in a weird situation too, because we're both jumping ship right now. We're both getting out.
Very, very close.
And it's difficult for me right now to like talk positive about stuff all the time, because I'm not allowed to like come on here. I'm allowed, but like I'm so excited to get out, like super excited. But I've done 20 years, and you've done like 80 years or whatever. I don't know.
I always laugh when people forget that I'm the oldest guy on the podcast. People are like, "Oh, Peaches," even though he's the oldest one. No, I'm older than Peaches. I think I'm a year older than Peaches. He just got in when he was 17, and I didn't get in until I was 21. So
he just looks like the little guy from Up. That's why he's like little and
the little guy from Up. Oh, I'm putting that on this thumbnail. I'm superimposing his face onto the guy from Up. It is hard, and you're right. It is hard to talk in glowing terms about everything, right? But I'll tell you what, just like that pregnant lady, give me about 5 years. Give me some space, where I don't have the community, good, bad, or indifferent around, where, I cannot wait. It's going to happen in the very near future too. There's going to be a meme, and it's going to reference something that everybody inherently understands in the Air Force. And I'm going to text you, and I'm going to be like, what are they talking about? Yep. And you're going to be like, dude, I don't know. And we're going to have to ask somebody and be like, hey, what is this about? And they're going to explain it. And we're going to go, oh, huh. Like I watched it there was I don't even care to talk about the actual problem, but there was like, how memes go in, like, they're like a 2-week timeline, right? Like everybody is using the same meme for about 2 weeks, and then it drops off. Well, there was a specific topic, and, people were getting hammered over this one specific topic. And this one older PJ is like, what is going on right now? And I literally messaged him, and I was like, hey, here's the context. Here's why they're getting made fun of. Here's the actual thing that was an issue. And he was like, bro, I don't even know what's going on right now. And I just laughed. I was like, man, I can't wait for that to be me, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's and the end of your career is not the same as the rest of your career, right? Like,
right.
It's a little different. You got to stay at a squadron for a long time. I went up to staff. I'm not built for staff. I'm not saying it wasn't a good, positive experience overall, but like when it's time to go, it's time to go. I think I said I have negative feelings about the people that get out like at 6 or 10 years. A lot of that might be jealousy, or I think they're smarter than I am, because they could go out in the real world and make it before I could. But it doesn't take away from like all the good experiences I had, but like I don't know how to talk about the negative very well. You know what I mean? Like if I was looking at things today, it would be, and here's another thing that I always think about is Jared, when we were on the podcast, was like the Air Force isn't a fallback. The military isn't a fallback option. And I'm like, the Air Force was like my last option,
Oh, same. Yeah.
Like, so like if you're in a bad spot and you don't have like an extensive criminal record, and you can pass a drug test and you can pass the ASVAB, like it's 4 years of maybe not all the best experiences. And the first 4 years, honestly, are probably going to be the worst, because you have like no authority and all this other stuff. And then at the end, you have like all the authority. And that's what makes it awful is people can't relate to you when you're expected to make these decisions and toe the party line for the guy above you. And then everybody's just humans at that point too. And like rank is meaningless, and, all these other things that go into that. But I mean, it's not a bad option, like if you can get past all the other things. And I just don't think it's that much different than, you can get a job at Amazon where they're going to work you to death without the benefits, without the camaraderie that you're going to, gain here. Granted, apparently if you work at Walmart, for 10 years, you sign off, and because it was just that emotional experience. So like maybe Walmart is the place to go.
Gail Davis, shout out. That's
American hero.
Yeah, got it. Gail Davis signing off for the night. And I will say, it wasn't a fallback, for me. It wasn't, but I was definitely running pretty low on options, man. I tried the college thing and it didn't work. I tried to get out into the workforce and figured out that also did not work. September 11th, unfortunately, presented itself, and it gave me a time where I could get in and try to serve and be something bigger than myself. But I'll tell you what, like good, bad, or indifferent, the Air Force and pararescue have made me who I am. To steal, Chief Ivan Ruiz's line, pararescue made me. Pararescue formed me. It took me a long time to figure out what that was supposed to look like and how I was supposed to do it the right way. And some would argue I never did figure that out, and I accept that. But there was really, it got to a point where, I didn't have all the information to kind of like pull the thread on what this episode was supposed to be about, which we never do a good job on. I didn't have all the information. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew that what I was doing wasn't working. So it wasn't necessarily a fallback, but sometimes you just have to accept, good, bad, or indifferent. You and I came from a place of zero information, or at least lacking information, and people sugarcoating stuff for us. Well, now people are coming from the exact opposite, the other end of the spectrum, where they're saying, well, here's literally all of the information, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the behind closed doors, the stuff that you're never supposed to be privy to, the stuff that I didn't know what was going on in, closed door conversations with commanders and chiefs before. That was never a thing. And now somebody gets wind of that and it's out on social media that day. Some E9 does something somewhere that's unpopular. That stuff rockets around the internet. A one-off comment by somebody in a position of authority that was said at a staff meeting where there were not supposed to be cell phones, and the person can't wait to run out and get that to somebody to get it out on social media. That never happened with us before. I had no clue.